In Austin, I stalled, paused, my eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pairwise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, motives reflected. Often mirrors appear, clear, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raving the grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose. In paradise, we know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you conceive.
Boom. Yes, it is. The truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I'm your host, Matt Clark. Today, we're coming to you on this Monday. It's cold, wet. That's why I'm dressed like this. I just came from outside, freezing my butt off out there. I was like, man, god dang, I do. My sinuses will appreciate it because I do prefer it hot than cold. Oh, I don't like it when it's hot, then it turns cold, then it turns hot, goes back and forth. That just beats my sinuses up, and it's just too much for me to really deal with. But man, we got a lot of good news today, even though like from this past weekend, the Thunder, of course, lost again, which was not the best thing in the world, losing to the Nets. The Thunder are now 23-11. Losing to the Nets 124-115. We were down 32 at one particular point, fought all the way back. But the Nets were just ridiculous. Even though they shot 45%, they were just up so high. And 14 of those 39 three-pointers they shot, a lot of those misses were in the fourth quarter, which allowed us to come back because every time we'd make a comeback, they'd hit a three. It just seemed like, they were just on fire, but we dug us too big of a hole for the second game in a row. Our starters did not come out with a sense of urgency, and we just couldn't get the job done. The Thunder were 18 for 36, however, from three-point line, 53% for us, 45 for them, 50 rebounds to 36. Once again, we got out-rebounded. You have to go smaller ball to be able to keep up, but the Thunder if that group, when you go Kendricks Williams and SGA and Kaysen, Isaiah Joe, and Wiggins, when you go that little lineup like that, they've got to be able to knock down shots and got to get defensive turnovers. And once again, only 14 turnovers, but the Nets do take care of the basketball. 48 pips for them, 62 points in the paint. We had 13 turnovers to their 14, 43-19 bench scoring. But when you look at the team stats, overall, this is where the Thunder are sitting. Now, I probably need to update this, and I will probably tomorrow or something. I'll update this. 121, we're ranked fourth. But the thing I like about this is that you can look offensively, we are tons better. Ranked third in three-point shooting, number one in three-point shooting. And if anybody would have told you that we were going to be number one in the NBA three-point shooting a couple years ago, we would have all laughed, including you all who are listening to the show right now. We would have all died laughing. Points in paint, we're 11th, and we're up higher than that. But this is my thing. If you're going to win, if you're going to have a winning record, and this is the difference between this year's Thunder team and the Thunder team in the past. Points, we're 11th now, giving up 11. We're 11th in the NBA out of 30 teams. We're giving up 112. 50.1, that's third in the league in field goal shoot percentage. Ninth in giving up 35.4% three-point shooting. Assist, 22nd. We got to get better at that. Giving up way too many easy shots. That's what that's telling. But you go down the list, we're in the top 10, or top 15 and everything, and then this is where it kills you. Offensive rebounds. I believe they had 20. You just can't. You can't do it. That's just killing us. And that's something that every time we go small, and I know his philosophy behind it, and I get that, but when we're playing against guys who are 6'8", who are way more athletic, or 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", front court, you can't go small because that means that you've got our 6'6" guys going up against 6'8" guys. Now, we're athletic too, but the 3 inches matter. I know I'm 6'3". If a 6 foot guard is trying to box me out, I'm going to get the rebound over him. I'm going to jump him. It is what it is. So that's the one glaring thing. Remember, we've talked about this before, that the Thunder's three things that they needed to fix, and that was going into this year. When have you going into the draft this past year? One, shooting. We've accomplished that goal. Two, perimeter guarding the perimeter. We clearly have done that. And number three, inside presence. And you can see that's something that we have got to address. We've got to. At some point, you're going to have to address that one glaring issue because of the simple fact that for us to win games, we have to address that issue. You can't go up against Denver. You can't beat the Clippers. You can't beat the Timberwolves. Remember, it's different if you beat somebody during the season. Because why? Well, because it's during the season. But in the playoffs, it's the best of seven. So you can't afford to give away a game, which is the thing that bothers me about Coach Westbrook. I mean, Dagnon. I call him Russell Westbrook because he's gonna cost us games. He's gonna cost us games because of possessions. Now I know I've tried to explain this to you, people in the past. You get 8 to 10 less possessions a game in the playoffs because nobody's running up and down the court. You're taking care of. I mean, you do have your little runs, but for the most part, you're taking care of the basketball. You're getting deeper into the shot clock because possessions matter. You can't be 12 deep. And I know that the Thunder philosophy is we're gonna play more than 10 players. Well, not if you're trying to win a championship. You're not. If you're not trying to win one, yeah, you can do that all you want to. If you're trying to win a championship, you can't give away games. You have to win as many games as you can and hope that your players don't get hurt. That's the best you can do. You cannot afford to give away games because your philosophy is playing 12 players. Yeah, if you're building a roster and trying to make everybody better, 100% do that. Do that, 100% do that. If you're trying to win, you can't do that. I mean, we've talked about it many times, okay? We've talked about it many times on the Thunder roster, who you're playing and who you're not. We've talked about it ad nauseum about why is he playing this guy? What's this guy doing in the game? And why are you playing him? And we go over this all the time. And here's our roster. SGA, this is the guys you should be playing. Here's your top 10. You got SGA, Kaysen, that's 2. Josh, Lou Dort, and Isaiah, that's 5. J-Dub is 6. Wiggins is 7. And then you've got Kendricks Williams is 8. And then Chet and Jalen, that's 10. And then if you need to bring in Micic and Bertans in certain spots, I agree. I think he needs to be playing somewhere else because he's not going to get the playing time here that he should have. But those are your 11th and 12th. But when you're going 13 with Lindy Waters and 14 with Jang, dude, you're not trying to win a game by playing those guys. You're not. And you can give me all the bull crap you want to give me. No other team believes anything you're saying. No other organization. When they see Lindy Waters out on the court, they go, oh, let's go attack him immediately. And I don't go by the plus minus, and I throw that out there for you nerd wallets. But that doesn't matter. It's what you see on the court. How does that person compromise the defense? What is he giving you offensively? Now, in games that don't matter, when the score doesn't matter, he's great. Now the Atlanta game, he hit a 3 at the end to help us. And that's why he's going against Trey. Talking about Trey Young. Other than that, why are you seeing the game for? He is not even remotely one of your top 12 players, not even close. And you're lying. You are lying if you think he is. To us, if you say that, you're a liar. Number one, you're a liar. Number two, you have no concept of talent. None. You're not evaluated talent. You need to lose your job. If that's what you think, you're high. You can't poll 100 people and 99 of them will tell you what the hell you're doing. Now, do we like Lindy? 100% of us will tell you that. But should he be playing? Hell no. Now, you want to play him against the Hawks because it's Trey, cool. No problem. Other than that, yeah, no. No. I'm out on that. Now, to me, When you want to make a stop, here's your lineup. You have SGA, Isaiah Joe, Kaysen, Wiggins, and Chet. That's when you want to make a stop. And when you look at these numbers again that I'm going to pull up, that's when you want to make a stop. And let me see, put that up here. Team stats. When you want to make a stop, here is why you have them in there. That's why your numbers are sitting where they're sitting. That's why your numbers are sitting where they're sitting. Because of that group right there. They force turnovers. They can knock down threes. They can run the floor. They can pass the ball. But most importantly, they get you stops. That's why your defensive numbers are the way they are. Now, you know that. And then you do what you do. So that being said, here's the Thunder game tonight. We're playing on the road, the third of 3 games in a row on the road, a 3-game road trip. We're 23-11. This game's at 6 p.m. tonight. Remember, 6:30, and we'll be talking about that later. It's the national championship football game, so it's going to be hard for me to do a show and watch that because, of course, we do After the Storm, our Thunder show tonight. So that's going to be a little difficult to do both, but I'm going to try to go both. But what I'll probably do is watch the Thunder game and then listen to the national championship game. That's probably what I would do because I can't stand listening to Michael Cage anyways. So I'll probably do that. That way I can at least listen to what's going on and I can watch the Thunder game and I don't need to listen to him because he's not telling me anything I don't already know and he tells me stuff that's just ridiculous. And then him trying to be funny and trying to throw out little quotes. I'm like, dude, you're corny. You need to stop. But once again, the Thunder don't care about that because they know they're the people that listen to the Thunder aren't necessarily educated. The people in Oklahoma are way more smart about football than they are basketball. They are just way more knowledgeable about football than they are basketball. Way more. Way more knowledge about wrestling than they are basketball. They don't get the game, and that's why the Thunder can get away with what they get away with because they know that they're dealing with an uninformed crowd. But anyway, the Thunder should win tonight, but we've said that the last 2 nights they've lost to 2 teams with losing records, so we shall see what's going to happen with them. So what that tells you, here is the scores. Oh, wait, here's what the standings look like as of now in the NBA standings. This is where we are right now in the NBA standings, which have a lot to do with the fact we hadn't played. But anyway, the T-Wolves are 25-10. They just lost their last game, so they finally have joined the ranks of double-digit losses. The Nuggets, 26-12, sitting right ahead of us, a half game out of first place. Winners of their last one. We have lost our last 2 to the Nets and the Hawks. Clippers lost last night to the Lakers, and we'll go over all that here in a minute. That dunk by LeBron, they were talking about, it's so great. I'm like, I've seen him dunk way better than that. Now, for a guy as old as he is, yeah, that was impressive. That was impressive. The Kings, 21-14, loser of last 1, still sitting there. The Mavs, winners of their last 3, 22-15. The Pelicans, 22-15 as well. Of course, they have the tiebreaker over the Mavs, and that's what I was talking about earlier in the year when we lost to the Pelicans. That stuff matters, guys. When it comes to tiebreakers, you have to win your home games because you may or may not lose a game on the road. Now, the next time we play the Pelicans at their place, you have to win to even things out. So, and then there will be a deciding factor. So you gave away a win because our coach. It's just pathetic. I still can't believe he did. I mean, he's still doing the same thing. Same thing. It just, he doesn't coach per situation. He coaches the way he coaches. And this is my plan. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit SGA for 7 minutes in the second quarter. And I'm going to sit SGA for at least 5 to 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. That's what he's going to do. No matter what the situation is, that's what he does. And especially if we're winning it all in the second quarter by a lot of points. I'm like, dude, this is the NBA. Once they got the starters in there, they get in a rhythm in the league. You get in a rhythm, it's over. It's how we lost to the Nets. Like the Hawks. I mean, we're up, we're getting back to the game. We're down 11. And you have SGA on the bench, and then you sit him for 3 more minutes, and you go down 11 to down 21 before you put him in. What the hell kind of coaching are you doing? Oh, you can't. And I'm telling you, he's the Russell Westbrook of this. He's just really killing us. Now, on the positive side, here are the next game for the Thunder tonight against the Wizards, 6 p.m. tonight on Bali. Got to win this game. Got to win this game. And the Thunder, of course, are favored, but you still got to win the game. You got to show up and play. We were favored against the Nets and lost. Didn't show up to play. Favored against the Hawks. Didn't show up to play. Got to win this tonight because if you lose tonight, you have a 3-game losing streak, and then you've got to go to the Wizards on Wednesday night. And then back-to-back home game again. Because remember, this is our third back-to-back home stand in this month, and we still have 2 more. This will be our third coming up against Clippers and Lakers. And we still have 2 more. We play 17 games in 30 in the month of January. Or is it 21? Maybe it's 21. It's a lot. So the good news is we have the Wizards that can get us healthy tonight and get us back in rhythm before going on our 4th home game in 7 days against the Heat. Got to get it done. Okay? Got to get it done. So here's the mark. Now, what I'm excited about, and once again, we'll see if the Thunder even brag about this, which I doubt. But maybe they will, which I doubt. But this is what I've been preaching, right? This whole time. SGA for NBA MVP, Chet for Rookie of the Month. And right now, SGA is right up there winning, and some people have got him the MVP favorite at this particular point when the Thunder were 10-3 in the month of December. I should have put December. And Chet was the Rookie of the Month for December. The Thunder were 10-3 in December, which is why this is. SGA 31.9, 6.6 assists, and 3 steals. Chet 17.4, 7.7 rebounds, and 3.5 blocks. And remember, I told him, what did I say this year? I wanted him 14, 8, and 3. 3 to 4 blocks. That's where I wanted him. And if you give me the 17 and you're still at 8, he's right on pace, except he's scoring 3 more points than what I had predicted him to do. So this is where I look at the Thunder's hopes and why everybody's looking at the Thunder. Now, they're talking about the core, the best core in the NBA. That's my thing with the Thunder. We have one of the top 3, 4 best young core groups. And I put the duos in there before. And I need to redo it because I did have Josh in there in the top NBA duos. And quite frankly, it needs to be Chet and Jada and SGA, not J-Dub. Even though the Thunder wanted to be, J-Dub and Chet, which to me, just go ahead and get rid of SGA. If you think J-Dub's all that, get rid of him and let's just go on and move on. Okay, that's why I'm always saying, just if you think he's the man, just move on, bro. You go ahead and get J-Dub in there. I mean, because if that's what you think, that's what you should do. And that's how I look at it. I mean, I'm so over them promoting him, and nobody in the NBA is promoting him but them. Nobody thinks he's who he is but them. Okay? Nobody. And, we've talked about ad nauseum about these two and what they have to offer, SGA and Chet, and what they're doing right now. And why? It's mainly because Chet made the decision early in the year, and we've talked about this, when he decided to forget what the coaching staff is doing, I'm following SGA. And since Chet made that decision, he's been on fire, and so have the Thunder. And if J-Dub will ever make that decision to do the same thing, the Thunder will be on fire. I don't know if he will because I think his ego thinks he's as good as SGA. And SGA is like, look, man, go make your points, go whatever. And like they made the point where they ran 2 plays in a row at the end of the game for J-Dub, and he delivered. And that's fine. And he's going to do like that every once in a while. He's going to have those games where he can do that. There's no doubt. But for the most part, if you've got to depend on him to make plays at the end of the quarter and make plays at the end of the game and win your games, it's not going to happen. He's not that dude. He's not that dude. SGA's been doing that since he got here. He's been winning games for us, game-winning shots, game-winning buckets since he got here. Not the same player, not the same guy, not the same thing. So the NBA scores last night, which makes all the difference. The Spurs and the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers almost got beat by the Spurs. Wembanyama's just an absolute monster. He is definitely a unicorn. He's everything that they said he was going to be and more. Him blocking Giannis's dunk the other night. I was like, wow. The behind the back when they were going to pick up, they could steal the ball from him when he was going behind the back. He just picked it up instead of going down because if he picked it up, if he went ahead and dribbled it, would have got stolen. Bounce it off the backboard, which of course you can do there. High school and college can't do that. The Nets and the Trailblazers took care of business in OT over the Nets. Just telling you, the Nets are shooting the ball well, but then the Trailblazers, I mean, come on now. In fact, we have the Trailblazers coming up pretty soon. Pelicans 133 over the Kings in Sacramento. Huge win for the Pels over the Kings. What a great game that was. And then, of course, the Hawks and the Magic. The Magic took care of the Hawks in OT, and, of course, they're coming to town Saturday. Is that right? Yes, Saturday. We play the Magic. Timberwolves and the Mavericks. The Mavericks beat Minnesota, of course, in Dallas, and that's the one thing we talk about. You have to protect your home court. If somebody's coming, I don't care who they are, you got to beat them at home. You got to beat them at home. You can't give up. And I think the Celtics believe, if I remember this correct, I think they're still undefeated at home right now. They have not lost a game at home, and you've got to. It reminds me when the Celtics won that one title in '85 or whatever. They lost one home game. I believe is all they lost the whole year, which is just insane. They were 41-1 at home, or 40-2, something just stupid. So were the Warriors. Just insane when you think about that. It means you never lose. The Nuggets, of course, took care of business over the Pistons. What a shock, 131-114. The Suns and the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies took care of business of the Suns in Phoenix. Man, what a good game that was. I mean, the Grizzlies are a scary team. Once Ja gets, he and SJ are handfuls. They just are. Warriors and the Raptors. Warriors, they get Draymond back. They just got to totally redo what the hell they're doing. It's not working very well, and they're just an old team that's just fading away. They should have made decisions that they did. They made the wrong decisions. I mean, to me, Jordan Poole is struggling in the Wizards. Why? Because he's not with Golden State anymore. Not in the same mentality, not in the same organizational structure, and he can just act a fool and be a fool, and that's exactly what's happening with him. And I think the Warriors needed his punch and the way he was coming off the bench and the things that he could bring them. They're missing that. Not playing Kuminga at all. Maybe Steve Kerr's tenure there has been worn out. Because a coach, after a certain period of time, players, unless you're getting a bunch of new players, they're tired of your speeches. They've heard everything that you said 1,000 times, and it's going in one ear and out the other. They're not paying attention to you. And then the Lakers and the Clippers. Lakers, huge win over the Clips last night. They're in L.A., in their home arena, and the Clippers, of course, will have a new arena for next year, and that place is just Steve Ballmer, $2 billion, and it looks like it. It is, man, what a fantastic showplace. But if they don't win, people ain't coming. They don't care because it is the Clippers, and they do have their level B stars that come to their game. All the A-listers are all at the Laker game. The B-listers are the ones who go to the Clippers games. Now, there are some A-listers who have been Clipper fans because, one, the seats are cheaper. Two, they can be there and they get to see all the teams anyway, but, the team is a losing team, but they still get to be in the mixed and get to see the team. So it is what it is when it comes to that. In games today, we only have 6. You have the Bulls and the Hornets, which if you're not in Charlotte and you're not a Chicago fan, you don't care. The Thunder at the Wizards, we have to take care of business tonight, and we've talked about that. Coming off a 2-game losing streak, you got to halt it here. And if you're going to do it, here's a chance to get whole and healthy. The Celtics against the Pacers, man, that's going to be a really, really good game in Indiana. Oh, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to be like that. The Rockets at the Heat, ooh, man, that's going to be another good game. Houston is playing really well. You can see from the NBA standings where they were. Jazz and Bucks. The Bucks are coming on right now that they should smash the Jazz. And then the Suns and Clippers. What a game that's going to be, especially if all three are playing. Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. If all three of them are playing, it should be a good game going against James Harden, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Kawhi Leonard. That game is at 9:30, so that'll be after the national championship game. So I may get a chance to watch that game. So, but when you look at the standings again, I'm gonna pop that up. I know I just did. I'm popping it up again. You can see the Rockets are 18-16, the Suns 19-17, the Lakers are 18-19. So they're really fading. They're a playing team this year for sure. But the first half they are. I mean, who knows what's going to happen the second half of the season. But a 39-year-old LeBron, I don't really see him, you know, doing much. Talking about his son could play for them. Dude, stop. Your son started one game in college. And how the hell is he going to come play in the NBA? Oh, that's right, because you're his daddy. Rocket, now your little brother, your younger son Bryce, he's the beast. Kind of like the Ball brothers. The baby was the monster. Just like LeBron, your baby is the monster. The other one is basically LeVar. I mean, not LeVar, but no, Lamar, which is, I can't even think of his name. He's not even playing the league anymore. But which Ball is it? I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Plays for Chicago. But I look at this, the Thunder are 23-11. Need to be 24-11. Because this stretch run matters. And remember, the whole thing is this, and the reason why I talk about this all the time is because if you're a 2 seed, a 1-2 seed, a 3 seed, a 4 seed, you get home playoff games. You're going to get at least 3. If you will take care of your home business, you're going to get at least 3, if not 4 home games. Okay? That's revenue for the Thunder. It builds all the accolades up for the city. Everybody can be pumped up because of what we're doing. So it does all those things for us. So those are the opportunities and the things that you have to offer, or the Thunder have to offer. Now the question is, what are they going to do with these? What are they going to do with that opportunity? We shall see what's going to happen. I think I just think you can't give away games, and the way this coach is, he's determined to play who he's going to play. He's determined to play 12 players. He's determined to play guys who don't belong out there on the court playing. They're G League players. And the Thunder philosophy are, we're going to play 12 players. Well, you're not going to win anything if you do that. You're going to continue to give away games. And in the playoffs, once again, it's about winning and losing. It's about 4 out of 7. You can't give away possessions. You only get 10 a game. I mean, you lose 10 possessions per game than you do in the season. So you can't afford to give away 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 possessions because of people you're playing in the second and fourth quarter. You can't do it. He's going to, because he's a minutes manager. No NBA player is going to sit. Now, what they normally do with players is they don't play the whole first quarter and whole third quarter. What they do is they play part of the third quarter like they do with Chet. He'll play 6, 7 minutes. You sit in for 3 or 4 minutes. You play him the last 2 minutes. That's kind of like what some teams do. Now, the Thunder are playing the whole first quarter, whole third quarter. That's what the Lakers used to do with Kobe. But the difference is they never set Kobe for 8 minutes, 7 minutes. And you put your 8th, 9th, 10th player in the game before your best player. Oh, that's right. You all think that your best player is J-Dub. Never mind. I forgot about that. Your second best player or third best player, wherever you have him on your depth chart. You can't give away possessions. And by not having SGA on the floor, you're giving away possessions. Why? Because what SGA does is when they're rolling with that group I told you, they give him the ball. And this is what they know. He's going to look for his shot first. If he doesn't get that, he's going to probe the defense the second time to look for the best possible outlet to hook his player up. Now, what Chet has done since then, he's been able to shoot more open threes because he's had time to take a 1-2 step and shoot. The second thing is done for him is create lanes for him to be able to attack the basket and be able to finish. And the third thing has been able to allow Chet to do is not have to worry about doing a lot of dribbling, going one-on-one, because every time he does that, he loses the ball. Now, what that allows Isaiah Joe to do is get on his spot and be able to stay on his spot without having to create. When he tries to create, that's when the Thunder goes south. That's not what he does. That's not who he is. He can't do that. He can't create. Dude, catch the ball, shoot. You're a shooter, not a scorer. And once again, the difference between the two, shooters catch the ball and shoot around the three-point line. That's all they do. Scorers score. They can put the ball on the ground. They can go to the basket. They can do pull-ups. They can do fadeaways. They have all these things in their bag. a bag, that means they're different skill sets, the different things they can do, whether that's a fadeaway, whether it's a step back, whether it's a left hand, right hand, whatever it is, they can do it all. That's a scorer versus a shooter. Okay, I says Joe is a shooter. He's trying to be a scorer because the NBA teams are knocking him off his spot. Josh Giddey is a scorer, not a shooter. Third thing is J Dub. He's more of a scorer, not a shooter. Dort is a shooter when he can shoot. He is doing good, so I'm gonna call him a shooter for now. Chet is a scorer. Jay Will is a shooter. Wiggins is more of a shooter than he is a scorer, but he's a hybrid. He can score a little. He's kind of a scorer, but he's more of a catch the ball and shoot guy. Okay, Kaysen is a scorer, even though he's still a rookie and trying to figure out his spots. That's what he is. Okay, that's the difference. And scorers, no matter what you do to them, they can still get to their spots and they can still score. And that's the thing about J-Dub is more and more teams are going to figure out and scout him and go, okay, this is what he does. And they're going to take it away from him. Then the question is, what does he have next? Now, what SGA does is things you do to him early, he probes and go, okay, when I go to this spot, this is what they're going to do to me here. So when he goes to that spot, knowing that this is what's going to happen, he does this. So he counters that. That's like in the Celtics game when he starts laughing after he scored on, who was it? Was it Porzingis, I believe? He just went down the court laughing like, man, y'all ain't got nothing for me. That's a score, and that's the difference. I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Collaborative Logic. I want to appreciate them for keeping us up and running and all the good things that they do for us. If you have any needs for computers or software to make your office run smoother, they are the people for that. Also, they can create websites and do designs for you. They did my website, MC Sports Network, by the way, so they've done that for us. So they have those all available to you as well as if you need for building a network or you're not happy with your IT company, please call them. The thing I love about them is they can remote in and hook you up. SRB, if you have any engineering, surveying, or planning, please contact my guy Mark Long over there. They love to be behind the scenes to do water plant designs or any sort of plans you have. They can do all of that. Oak Grove Trucking and my guy Jose Fierro. Hit our boy up if you have any needs for dirt, rock, or sand to be moved. Greg and Max Nafee at Nafco. Appreciate those guys supporting me in everything I do, especially with my Matt Clark Basketball Academy. I appreciate those guys hooking me up with that. They are amazing, and if you have any needs for any of that, they are the people to contact. YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC. Proud sponsor for us to go out and support women, minority, and black-owned businesses in the OKC area. Appreciate those guys. You can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Or you can go into any of their locations. The main bank at 401 Elm in downtown Yukon. YNB East, which is off the Parkway and 66 or 39th Expressway. YNB Mustang 218 North Mustang Road. YNB Parkway, which is off I-40 and Garth Brooks, right in front of the hospital on the south side of I-40. YNB Peoples, which is on 23rd and Bethany between Rockwell and MacArthur. So please go and see any of those guys. And then Shelter Insurance, the Mark Pemberton Agency, located 4609 Southeast 29th in Dale City, Oklahoma, 405-670-2424. They are open Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5, Fridays, 9 to 1, closed on Saturdays and Sundays. Of course, that's the weekend. Proudly serving the Mid-Dale area since 1982. So go ahead and see my guy Mark over there. Appreciate his sponsorship. Man, I tell you what, now for football, boy, I mean, this past weekend there was a few games that mattered, but the only one that I really was excited about was the NFL game last night between the Bills and the Dolphins, because that basically decided the number 2 seed on Sunday Night Football. Now, we did see some games that mattered, like, teams that, like the Texans, they had to beat the Colts to get in. So there was games like that had to that you had to win and had to do. So there was those. But in the game last night, the Bills and the Dolphins, and like I said, what a game that it was. What a game it was, 21-14. The Bills, uh, and you look at all the turnovers. The Bills had 3 turnovers and still won. Josh Allen threw a terrible interception in his zone, but let's call it the play before that was pass interference. So, and they did not call it. The officiating this year in the NFL is terrible. I mean, you have in big games. It's just I don't know what these guys are looking at. I don't know if you're just adding people or what the hell they're doing, but they really need to try to fix that and change that in some kind of way because it's god awful the way it is right now. Anyway, Bills 11-6, Dolphins 11-6. The Bills are now the number 2 seed. Dolphins are the 5th seed, I believe, is where they are. We'll go look at that overall. But Josh Allen, 30 for 38, 359 with 70-some yards rush. He's Josh Allen. He's Superman. He's unbelievable. He really is. When the things he can do, but he makes horrible decisions. Unfortunately, he was playing the Dolphins, so instead of the Dolphins getting a home game in 70-degree weather, they're going to have to go play the Chiefs in 0 or minus-degree weather. Doesn't look good for the Dolphins. Ooh, I mean, talk about a game to go south. That's just, ooh. Anyway. Total yards, Bills 473 to the Dolphins 275, 128 rushing yards to 108 for the Dolphins, 26 and 16, 3 turnovers for the Bills, 2 for the Dolphins, 38 minutes. They had the ball 38 minutes, which is why when you look at the first downs, 26-16, that's just so glaring when you look at that. I mean, look, 26 first downs. But of course, Chubb is hurt. They're just. In fact, he got hurt in the meaningless game. He should have been out. He shouldn't have even been in the game, and it's going to cost them. It's 473 yards to 275, and most of the Dolphins' yards were in the first half. They're a great scripted team, but Tua, he ain't the guy. But they're going to have to decide on what they're going to do. Are you going to pay him? And I don't think a 4 should be in front of his name, in front of his deal. Nor should a Baker Mayfield. Put a 3 in front of him, not a 4. You got to pay them a lot of money because they are good, but they're not good. They shouldn't have a 4. They shouldn't be definitely not a 5. Definitely not a 5 in front of their name. And like Dak Prescott's going to probably be the highest paid NFL quarterback, which is stupid. That's just he's great in regular season, but he can't get the job done. And when it counts, and that's what you have to be able to do is win the games when they count. So what did this game mean? This is what the game meant. predictions. I said the North would be the Bengals, the East would be the Bills, South would be the Jaguars, fourth would be the Chiefs. So I got two of the four right because the Ravens won the North and the Texans won the South. So I got two of the deals right. I had the Chargers in. No, so I had the Steelers and the Dolphins. So I got four of them right. That's what I got. Steelers. I had to pick the Steelers. I picked the Dolphins. I picked the Chiefs. I picked the Bills. So I've got four of them right. That's what I did. So that's not bad out of my part. Not bad. In the NFC, I picked the Lions. Yes, I picked the Eagles to win. It was the Cowboys. I picked the Saints and I picked the Niners. So I got two of the four. And then I had the Steelers, the Seahawks now, Falcons now, and Cowboys. So I had the Lions, the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Niners. Four of them. That's what I had. I did not have the Buccaneers. I think what were they, one plus 1,000 or something? The Buccaneers were to make the playoffs. So four. I got four in each conference. I got the Lions right. I got the Eagles right. I got the Cowboys right, and I got the Niners right. So I got four of those. And then, like I said, in the AFC, I got the Steelers, and I got the Dolphins, and I had the Chiefs, and I had the Bills. So I was if the Jaguars would have won yesterday, I would be right there in the mix. But of course, I was wrong about them. Now the Bills and Dolphins 1-2. I had that correct. The Bengals and Steelers. I should have had the Ravens up there, but no one expected Joe Burrow to get hurt, so that has effect on that. And the Chargers just underachieved once again when it came to that. So I mean, what are we going to expect out of that? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's kind of when I look at it, and this when we go back to the NFL news and the firings, you'll know why this ends up playing out the way it did when I go back up here, because the last thing we're going to talk about is all the NFL coaches that were fired. And, you know, I don't advocate that, but anyway, Chargers fired Brandon Staley, which we knew that, okay? The Commanders fired Ron Rivera, which we knew was going to hire that. But here's the interesting point. They hired the Warriors' former GM, Bob Myers, who was the one who was the architect of, you know, getting Steph, Clay, getting that whole group together and doing what they did. So he's the architect of that. So they hired him to help run the team. They also added former Vikings GM Rick Spellman to also help run the team, along with Magic being part of the advisory committee to pick the next head coach. Now the question is, are they going to go defense or offense? I believe they're going to go offense. And then their next step is, who are they going to hire in the draft? Or who are they going to take next? Because to me, your next step is in an NFL draft that will be coming up. That's going to determine a lot. Okay? That's going to determine a lot on who's going to do what, because when you look at, the Bears have the number one pick. So we already know that. Okay? We know the Bears have the number one pick. But you got number two, you have the Commanders. So they need a quarterback. So the question is, who are you going to do? Hell, you're going to take a quarterback. I think Sam Howell played really well, but let's face it, you got Magic in there. Who are they going to take? The first thing you got to have is a quarterback if you're going to compete. We just went over that. 12 of the 16 teams in the playoffs right now have quarterbacks. And by the way, I got 8 out of 16, so I got half of them right as far as playoff predictions. But you got to have a quarterback. That is the main thing you've got to have. So I believe that their first thing they're going to do is hire an offensive coordinator, or hire a guy. If they hire a defensive coordinator, for them to hire an offensive coordinator that's going to be able to help them do a quarterback. Now, the question is what kind of quarterback you're going to. We're going to go over there here in just a second as well. But then I think Magic being a winner and understanding, remember, he owned part of the Lakers so that he could buy the Dodgers, made the money off of that so he could now be a minority owner of the Washington Commanders. So Magic doing quite well. And then, of course, the Falcons fired Arthur Smith, which we knew what was happening. But the next step is, what happens next? Who gets fired next? Okay? Who gets fired next? What do the Patriots do with Belichick? Do the Cowboys keep their coach? But I believe Jerry Jones is going to keep him no matter what because that's what Jerry does. And then he'll talk about them having the best roster and blah, 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 and come up with the same stuff that he comes up with. The Cowboys fans suck up every year the BS, the stuff that he says, which is just ridiculous. But the question is, do you keep him? And I just think if you anything less than NFC Championship or the Super Bowl, he should be gone. And I would think anything because the roster you have and what you're doing, and you taking over play calling duties. So to me, if you don't at least get to the Super Bowl, or if you get to the playoffs or to the championship game against the 49ers and get blown out again, you need to be gone. That's just kind of look at it. But Jerry Jones is going to have to stop being a micromanager and have a coach that has some sort of an autonomy. But like Stephen A. Smith said, now that they finally brought Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor, which he should have been in a long time ago, the Cowboys Ring of Honor, maybe that'll break the bend. So, but back to the Commanders. Who do they hire? I mean, who did they draft? Remember, they're number 2. So who did they take? Who would you take? And when we have a list of the top college quarterbacks, here they are. Here's me, myself, Nathan, Ben, and Drew. We all did quarterbacks. Caleb Williams is 1. Michael Penix is 2. Shador Sanders, he drops down off the thing because he's not coming out. Jordan Travis was hurt. Sam Hartman, no. Drake May, I had him at 10th. He's now 2nd or 3rd. And Bo Nix is in there. And Jaden Daniels, who won the Heisman from LSU, is up there. So you have Caleb, you have Penix, you have Jaden Daniels of LSU, you have Bo Nix, you got Drake May. I think if Jordan didn't get hurt, I think he'd be right up there. But him doing what happened to him, I think that hurt him. And then J.J. McCarthy, I know he's going to come out, but I'm not even remotely going to put him as one of the top 3 picks. So if I'm the Commanders, who do you take? As the Commanders, who do you take? And to me, when I look at the top quarterbacks, here are the top quarterbacks. And I know that the Bears have number 1, so they probably are going to take Caleb. Number 2, do I take Penix? Do I take Jaden Daniels of LSU? Or do I take Drake May? Now, the one thing I'm going to know is that you got to have a guy who can pass the ball but be mobile. Not necessarily a runner, but he needs to be mobile. Okay? So if he's going to be mobile, then who are you going to take? And here are your options. And to me, Caleb, I believe, is going to go to the Bears. I think they're going to be done with Justin Fields, who killed me, by the way. I'm playing against Ben in our championship, in our deal. He didn't even have a quarterback playing, and neither did I, because I lose to him, and he didn't play his quarterback. So when you think about that, it's like, are you serious right now? And Ben beat me, and he had Lamar Jackson playing. But I'd overthink it. I should have had Dak playing. If I had Dak playing and the guys that I normally would have playing, Amar St. Brown for them, if I have those two, I beat Ben. But I did not have those two playing, and that was my bad for overthinking it. But that does happen from time to time. But back to the thing, who do they take? And that's what I would do if I were them. I would probably take, Drake May looks really good, but I would probably give me somebody, because Jaden Daniels, I'd want to get me a coach like Ben Johnson of Detroit, who's done well with his quarterback, but his quarterback is more of a pocket. So if he's more of that type guy, then I'm going to go with Michael Penix Jr. or Drake May, because that's what he does, a guy who is semi-mobile but likes to stand in the pocket. So that's a Drake May deal, but I don't know if Drake May is really the guy. Not to me. I've never been a fan of his. I'm not, when you look down the list, Nathan was high on him and Drew was high on him. I was not high on Drake May, and neither was Ben when we did this at the beginning of the year. So that's kind of our breakdown of quarterbacks, and we'll get more into it as the draft and everything comes closer to that time. So, but anyway, for news tonight, of course, we have the national championship game. But before that, we have the Thunder tonight. Okay, that's who we have first. We have the Thunder, 5.5-point favorites, 246 the over/under for that game. And then the next deal is the game tonight. The college football Schedule is tonight. And the national championship game, Michigan versus Washington. Washington is +5, over under 55.5 for the game. Of course, that game will be on at 6:30 tonight on ESPN. Thunder game is 6, which I'll start out watching on Bali. And like I said, I will probably turn uh, our broadcast off and listen to the championship game while I'm watching the NFL game, or excuse me, watching the Thunder game, because I can't stand listening to those two guys anyway. So that's probably what I will do when I think about it. Is probably what I'll do. But the national championship game tonight, number 1 versus 2, Washington. I probably will take Michigan in this game if you hold my feet to the fire. That's probably who I would take in this game today. So that being said, I hope everybody's going to enjoy. I mean, don't you love tonight? It's going to be great. You got NBA basketball, but of course, we're all Thunder fans, so we're going to watch the Thunder. They do have other games available, and then also the national championship football game. So tonight, of course, after the storm is on, we do play the Wizards, which I'm not overly. If we beat them, if we don't beat them by 25, I'm gonna be very upset. So I hope it's a blowout. That way, we can have a short show, and I can watch the game tonight, watch the football game, and then tomorrow kind of go over the show. So that's my plan, and that's what we'll see what happens. So that being said, I hope everybody has a